Feels like the critics are slut-shaming me over my reading preferences. Why am I loving this so much? All of these books are on Kindle Unlimited. The writing was a little sloppy. I was going to use this link right here from Goodreads to guide this vlog. I saved this link thinking, oh, let me do a vlog with it one day. Well, it's one day. I decided I'm in a romantasy mood. Has that happened in the past 2 years? Not really. So I'm just going to take this feeling and run with it. But the only problem is this link I saved from last July. So it's been almost a year. I'm going to scrap this link because there have been so many other new romantasies that have come out since last July, and I'm just going to read what I want. I'm going to read the new romantasy books that I have an eye on. I'm currently reading The Dawn of the Cursed Queen. Is that even what it's called? It's book 3 in the Gods and Monsters series, and that's not going to be a part of this vlog, but just know I'm reading it. But I will say I'm confused. I'm about 45% of the way through, and there's so much politics that I don't remember from book 2 that I'm a little lost. So today, I'm going to start Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. I was lucky enough to snatch the Libby version of this book, so I will be listening to it, but it is also on Kindle Unlimited. So I have it downloaded on my Kindle, and I'm going to be listening to it. Devney Perry, I read a book from her, I believe it was Coach, and it was good. It was a cute little romance. I know that this is her first romantasy book, and I'm very interested to see if it fits the typical romantasy formula that I've been reading recently. Like, I've talked about it so much on my channel. I do think romantasy has a copy and paste feeling to it right now. I haven't really enjoyed many romantasies that I've read, which is kind of leading me to this vlog. Like, let's find a really good romantasy. Starting off with Shields of Sparrows. Is that what it, did I just say that wrong? Shield of Sparrows. We are gonna find a good romantasy. That's what we're gonna do in this video. Shield of Sparrows is a slow burn, high stakes romantasy perfect for fans of Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, where enemies become lovers, monsters stalk a cursed realm, and a forgotten princess finds the strength to tear off her crown. Oh my god, that's a long sentence. Anyway, that's the description. That's the very first sentence in the description of this book. I'm 5% in. I'm on chapter 4. It's been a few hours. Right now I'm liking it more than I've liked other romantasies that I've read recently, so that's saying something. I just don't want to jinx it and then not like it later. I don't remember our main character's name. I remember her sister's name, May, or is it Margot? Prince, I don't know. He might not be the prince. I don't know the characters just yet. But our main character is free-spirited. She loves swimming and she likes art, which is not normal. Like, her stepmom wants her to do things like sparring and fighting like her sister. It's a little bit different than what we're used to in a typical female main character. Like, I feel like a usual main character is like, I'm sneaking around the castle trying to like get into the training grounds or trying to fight with the men in this castle. You know, it's always like a female trying to do what men do, where this one it's not like that. Or something just happened where I'm like, yeah, I kind of saw that coming. And I'm only 40 pages in. I'm liking Devney Perry's writing more than I'm liking the story, I think, right now. But Shield of Sparrows, that's the update. Also, this original Goodreads link that I was going to use to kind of guide this video, and now I'm not. One of the very first books in this list is Gothicana by Ruinix. It's like new notables, new as in last July. Let me tell you, Gothicana is not a romantasy. I can tell you that right now. There's no fantasy in it. Well, okay, here's the thing. My friend and I were looking this up the other day. Fantasy literature is literature set in an imaginary universe, often but not always without any locations, events, or people from the real world. Magic, the supernatural, magical creatures are common in many of these imaginary worlds. Gothicana does have supernatural elements because there is kind of this paranormal afterlife ghost haunting going on, but I would not qualify it as like a fantasy romance. It's more like a paranormal romance in a way. Like, it's very Wednesday Addams kind of energy with smut. I'm on chapter 14. I just ate my breakfast and read a little bit. Why am I loving this so much? Like, I'm shocked. Like, when I saw this cover maybe 2 weeks ago when it came out, I was like, oh God, a romance author doing another, like stepping into romantasy, it's not gonna go well. And I actually didn't really want to pick this up, but then it was available on Libby and I was like, fine, I'll listen to it. One, the narrator, perfection. Loving this narrator. I don't know the name, but I'll put it right here. She sounds familiar. But also Odessa, our main character, I feel like is not like a main character I've read before because she is not very athletic. She's not skilled. It's not like she's been sneaking around her own castle trying to like sword fight and stuff. Like, and she likes drawing and she likes swimming and she has these like different hobbies than a usual main character. The main moral dilemma that Odessa is going through is that no one seems to trust her. Like, her father won't trust her with secrets of his own kingdom, and she's like being sent to this other kingdom to assassinate someone, but she doesn't know why, and she doesn't know like why she's trying to infiltrate them. And she's like, only if he trusted me and like told me why, then I could like go through with it. And now the Guardian, who's like this big bad warrior, obviously our main love interest, he doesn't trust her with certain elements either of this kingdom. So like, she's like, maybe it's just me. And specifically, it was in chapter 13. At least on Kindle, it's page 151 to like 153. She's talking. She's like, I don't gossip. I couldn't remember the last time I shared someone else's secret. So what was so wrong with me that no one trusted me? Or was it really a lack of trust? Maybe the heart of the issue was faith. No one like believes in her and no one trusts her, but she doesn't know why. And I don't know why, because I really like her as a main character. It doesn't seem like she's trying to be someone she's not. Like, she's genuinely just being herself and people like don't trust her, which is kind of sad. So really enjoying this more than I thought I would. I am official. Oh, that's the wrong book. Hold on. They're on like a journey, which I've said before on my channel. I don't really like when a character goes on a journey. It's like they're leaving their home, they're on the sea, then they land, and then they're like traveling through the forest. Like, I don't love moving around on a map, but this one I don't mind it. There's also creatures that are being introduced. I'm liking the world and kind of learning about it. I think it is, I don't want to say it's predictable because nothing has happened that I'm like, oh yeah, I guessed that. I haven't been able to predict anything so far because we're only like 35% of the way through the book. But as we get deeper, I know it's going to be a little bit predictable, but I heard the ending is kind of crazy, kind of wild, and I'm excited for that. So, yay. I'm so happy that I found like a romantasy that I'm actually enjoying. Like, it's been so long. It's been so long. Quick update. I am just adoring this book. I still don't know anything. I don't have answers. I don't know like what the prince's deal is. She's forced to marry the prince of a different kingdom, but I'm not even sure the kingdom that they're journeying to is real. I think it's just like a myth or it's been destroyed. Like, I don't know what the deal is with that kingdom. And her father wants her to like spy and figure out how to like infiltrate so he can infiltrate this kingdom. But the main love interest is the prince's guardian, or the prince's like top soldier guy. And I'm like, how, if she's married to the prince, how is she going to end up with the guardian? But I think, and I'm going to guess the twist, and I won't say if it is true or not. It's not a spoiler because it's my guess, and I won't spoil it when I do find out. But I think the guardian is actually the prince, and she married the guardian. Or like, I don't know how they could figure that. I don't know how they would work around that. I am 73% of the way through Shield of Sparrows. Something did just happen that I predicted, but I've loved the way Devney Perry has written this book, the dialogue, the description of the setting. Even if it was predictable, it was worth it because the way it was revealed, I loved. Like, I fell for that and I loved it so much. Well, I ended up napping for about an hour and a half. So, but I am 90% of the way through now. I'm gonna just finish this book right now. I really like Odessa, our main character. I don't really care for the main male character. He's not like one of my favorite. Rowan or Zayden or Reese. Like, he's not like that tier of book boyfriend for me. But I love how much Odessa loves him. Like, Miss Odessa, our main character, is obsessed with this man. And I like that. I like that because I'm just like soaking in all of her feelings. And he's not like bad. He's just hiding a lot still. Like we still don't know a ton about him. We learned a little bit about his history, but I feel like he's hiding so much more. And we just learned something about Odessa, and I'm wondering why that is happening and where it's gonna go. Voster, they're not bad guys, they're like the priests, they're like spooky monks. I'm getting the feel, but they remind me of like Dementors, the way that she's describing them. They're like creepy. I don't know if they have like a human face or not. She hasn't really described the facial features, I don't think, but she says they like kind of levitate and float around, and they have these weird creepy spider tingly feeling powers that she feels when she's around them. Again, we just learned something, and I'm wondering what connection, if any, she has to the Voster. And yeah, but I'm going to continue reading and probably start a new book tonight, which I'm very excited about. I haven't mentioned it yet in this video, but I am reading Dawn of the Cursed Queen. It's book 3, and I'm not enjoying it like I thought I would, which is really sad because I loved the first 2 books, but this one is kind of dragging, and it's brought in some otherworldly creatures. And it's not like paranormal, but it's like trying in a way, I feel like, to be sci-fi when it's really just a romantasy. But there is so much sex. Let me tell you, I will be completely honest, I have tapped my way through the sex in that book because I'm not interested in that at all. Like, I'm so intrigued by the plot that the sex is actually bothering me. They're long too. They're like 5 to 6 pages of smut. This is the first book I've ever done that with though. I'm really not into smut recently. And I'm still gonna read it even if I'm not like really enjoying it, and I could include it in this video, but since it's book 3, if no one's read it, I don't want to spoil anything. But I totally recommend the first 2 books, and I hope this one gets a little bit better so I can kind of recommend it too, like the series as a whole, because I want to like the series because I do like the first 2 books. I finished Shield of Sparrows last night. 4 stars. That's what I'm gonna rate it. It was so refreshing. I feel like 4 stars is such a good rating for me for this genre right now, and it did impress me. Like, I genuinely think I found a good romantasy book. Were there flaws? Absolutely. Like, I think it's the first book in a series. We're gonna get more information later on, but it did seem like there were subplots mentioned in this book that had no payoff right now, but in future books I hope we get obviously more details. Specifically, the Lysa is the disease kind of being spread, the monsters in this kingdom. Like, the monsters have this disease, and if you get bit by one, your blood turns green and you become this like monster, okay? That plot to me was a little confusing. Like, when we found out about it, it wasn't explained very well, and on top of that, there was an added element with another character. She was involved in Lysa somehow, and that was also confusing. So I'm hoping that we get way more answers in the next book. That would make me happy. But for a first book, I thought it set up for future books very well. I loved Odessa. Okay, she was the worst spy in the world and the worst person her father could have sent to go assassinate this person. Even though that at the beginning it wasn't supposed to be her anyway, but she was terrible. Like, she was so bad at her job. I didn't really care because we knew that her job in the beginning, being a spy, was gonna be ruined by the love she had for this man. So I kind of knew that it wasn't gonna work out, but she was really bad at it. She's not very good at a lot of things, but she is dealing with a ton of trust issues. People don't seem to trust her, and she doesn't know why. And to be honest, that was not answered as well. Like, I want to know why people genuinely don't trust her. Maybe it is just because she's kind of naive and not very good at following through when people give her direction. Other than that, I really did enjoy it. There was 1, maybe 2 spicy scenes. I would give it like a 2 on the spicy scale, and I love that for a first book. I hope that the next book in the series gets a 4.5 or 5. I really hope it gets better from here. I enjoyed this book and I'm so happy about it. Like, I'm thrilled thrilled that I finally found a romantasy that I can confidently recommend that's not like ACOTAR or Fourth Wing. Like, I'm so happy. If you know me and my channel, I'm not a hater. Okay, I don't like yucking other people's yum. And I know that romantasy itself is pretty controversial right now because it's become this baby boomer of sorts genre where it just kind of popped out of nowhere, and now there are hundreds of books in the genre. I would say this genre really started spiking in 2020. The rise of book talk and ACOTAR and Throne of Glass and then Fourth Wing, and it kind of just has kept going up. Because this video is about romantasy, finding a good romantasy book, but also kind of trying to figure out why romantasy is the way it is now. Like, will it change? Hopefully. Are there better things coming for this genre? Is it in a rut? We are going to talk about a negative article about romantasy, and later in this video I'll try and find a positive one, so maybe we can weigh the pros and cons of this new genre as a whole. This one is very biased. I've already read through it, and I do think the author of this article is just spewing her own opinion. I'm okay that other people have different opinions. I'm totally fine with that, but it absolutely can affect the genre as a whole if we're only negatively talking about it because it's not what you like. This article is called Hater Friday, Romantasy Isn't Literature by Maya Blanchard. And I do want to just preface with the title. Hater Friday is so negative. Like, is your life, not saying that this Maya has a really negative life, but why not Fun Friday? Why does it have to be Hater Friday? Why are we hating on anything? Because someone else probably loves the thing that you're hating on. But I do understand that having different opinions and negative opinions is actually a good thing. So she does not have a great opinion on this genre. Totally fine, but let's figure out why. The subgenre of romantic fiction is broadly defined as books that feature romance in the context of a fantasy world. This describes about half the books I've ever read, so I'll clarify that when I refer to romantasy in this article, I'm imagining a romantic plot that would be largely unchanged if you removed it from the fantasy backdrop. Since then, these books have been festering and multiplying in a cursed corner of the internet. If you're chronically online in all of the wrong ways, you know I'm referring to spicy book talk. I shudder to even type out that phrase. The dark abyss where romantasy and spicy book talk practice their twisting mating ritual is what I would show the devil if he needed assistance crafting my personal hell. I love her writing. I completely disagree with it being a dark abyss, but I do think this genre, book talk and spicy book talk, did blow up around the same time. It's also so popular and so many people love book talk, and they found a community of people to discuss their favorite books with, aka books in this genre, romantasy. That's definitely what blew book talk up in the first place. And now book talk is so wide. I'll be honest and say I haven't read very many of these novels I hate so much, mostly because they make me want to gouge my eyes out. But I wouldn't be qualified to hate on a genre if I hadn't at least given it a try. But with the whirlwind of college, I've sadly fallen off my reading habit, but I often crave that feeling of getting lost in a good book. So I turned to the internet to see what the critics were recommending, and that's how I found myself reading Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. She then goes to state that she couldn't get past chapter 8 and how it made her weep for future literature. What really grinds my gears is the multitude of raving reviews these novels inspire. Spicy book talk romantasy readers seem to think they have discovered the new golden age of literature. I've seen fans of these books refer to themselves as bookworms and obsessed with reading, which I'm sorry makes me want to punch a wall. If you think fairy smut surpasses Jane Austen as romantic literature, you do not fall under bookworm category. So this is where I have a problem with this article and when I don't agree at all with her opinion. Like, my opinion is completely different. You cannot compare romantasy books to Jane Austen. You just can't. It's a completely different genre. It's a completely different time frame. There's no fantasy in Jane Austen books. So if you did like Jane Austen and you did like romantasy, she's targeting just the people who are liking romantasy. But what if you like both? Does that mean you're not a bookworm and you're not a reader? But then it goes to point people who love only romantasy, people who pick up a book like ACOTAR or Throne of Glass or Fourth Wing or some of the more deeper niche romantasy books now, if they're only reading that genre, you're telling me it doesn't make them a reader? They're still reading. Just because it's not high class literature, it doesn't mean that that's a taste thing, and that's a completely separate. I do not think you can argue those 2 points, and that's just me being me. So I really do think this whole article is just Hater Friday. She's just wanting to hate on something to hate on something. She's not really providing any facts toward this. It's not like she's proving anything. It was just straight her opinion, which again, totally fine to have your own opinion, but it is going to create some chaos if you say that to the wrong people. And I don't agree with that article very much, because I do like fantasy romance. I do think that romantasy has changed in the past 5 to 10 years, but I hope that there is a turning point, and I hope that it gets better at some point. It's just, unfortunately, in my opinion, in like a rut right now. I think we just got to get through weave out some of the bad romantasy before we get to some good. But yeah, I thought I would share that because I was looking up just romantasy in general on Google, and some articles popped up, and this was one of the very first. So let's pick the next romantasy book that I'm going to read in this vlog. Now I'm excited for this vlog. I was kind of not looking forward to doing it because romantasy, we haven't meshed, but I'm excited now. I have 3 choices that I want to pick between, and I'm not sure which one I'm going to do. Nocticadia by Carrie Lake. I have said I'm going to read that for months now, and I just haven't gotten to it. The Crown of Oaths and Curses by J. Bree. I read the Broken Bonds series by J. Bree a few years ago, and I know nothing about this series or this book. These 2 aren't that new. Like it's not like it was released this month or last month, but these 2 have been on my radar for quite some time. The one I think I'm leaning towards, and I think I'm going to read next, is Metal Slinger by Rachel Snyder. And I don't know anything about it, but again, I've seen people talk about it. Bryn has spent the better part of her life waiting for the chance to attend the annual market hosted by the Kinta, the very same people who exiled the Alaha to live a life over the sea. I don't know what any of that means, and a lot of people that I follow on Goodreads have rated it 4 and 5 stars, so I'm interested. And with the way Shield of Sparrows went, I'm actually excited to read another romantasy. Nocticadia and the other one by J. Bree I do have on my Libby, so maybe that could be the 3rd book. But I see my mom is actually reading this. We share a Libby account. She's 15% through Nocticadia. I'm gonna text her and see how she's liking it. Okay, my mom answered. Are you liking the Libby book Nocticadia? She said, so far, but there's only one. She's a big series reader. She likes multiple books in a series, and this book only has, I think it's a standalone, because on Goodreads it doesn't say that it's a part of a series. Quick update on Metal Slinger. I'm confused. I think I'm only like 5% of the way through. So much just happened, and I don't know what's going on. So we have our main character in a little friend group. They get this like once in a lifetime opportunity. They live on a boat and they're given this opportunity. I think it's like a school on the ship. Literally nothing has been explained yet. Nothing. And the boat like kind of parks and they go to this market. And they get off the boat, start buying like all of these pastries and all this. Like I don't even know if they've been on land before. Like there's been no details given, but they're at this market, they're shopping around. The main character gets separated from her friend group. Some guard of the opposite, like of the land people, some guard kind of like tracks her down and frames her for stealing something when she didn't do that. We don't know why he like framed her or anything. It's like this guard randomly framed her, runs away back towards her friend group, and they're all like getting back on the boat, but like the whole market explodes. I'm confused. I have no idea what is going on. I don't know why the market exploded. Okay, I don't know where I last left off, but I am 4 chapters into Metal Slinger. I'm not that far. I can be honest, I'm not liking it. And I went on Instagram last night and put on my story, like, does it get better? And I've gotten multiple 10+ DMs saying, stick with it. stick with it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna trust you guys. It's not clicking for me right now. Update, you guys, I've had a little change of heart, but I also know that there are flaws in this book and I want to point out the flaws because I want to be realistic with my writing. I am 50% of the way through. Right, Rachel Schneider, she has such a good idea, and I think the execution is not quite there. For example, the world that we're in sounds so cool. Like, it's a fantasy world that the politics and the setting, I've never read something like it before, where our main character lives in a society with tree houses in the water. It's not underwater, it's in the water, and they're living on ships, but they're also living in these tree houses and jumping from branches, and like, I think that is so cool, and there was no detail about that, and I think it's lacking a lot of world building, but I think the world is so cool, so I think it's lacking that, but it needs it. So that's my number one issue. Female main character. I really like her. I just think she is kind of bland. She doesn't really have any defining personality traits. I don't really know, besides her drawing occasionally, I don't really know much about her. And her past is mysterious, and it's supposed to be mysterious. We're not supposed to know a lot about it. I want to be like head over heels for the main female character, and I'm just not in this one. And she trusted the main male character so easily, like so easily. It was just like, there was no mental debate with him. Like, it was just like, oh yeah, I believe you, I'm gonna come with you, I'm gonna leave what I've known for the past 14 years and I'm gonna leave my home and come with you, a stranger, because you say so. We haven't gotten to any smut yet or romance really. I do like this playful chemistry that the two are giving off. They're playing in the water together, their banter's great, the bickering is wonderful. So I'm liking it. I'm not loving it, but I am glad that I gave it past chapter 3. So I'm kind of just holding out for more. There's just elements to it that I'm enjoying. It's like a puzzle piece that I'm trying to put together because I'm enjoying some of it, but I'm not enjoying other aspects. And I just feel like there's more development that needs to be done. I just finished Metal Slinger. I have thoughts. I do. You guys already know my thoughts about the fantasy element and the fantasy world itself, that I'm a little disappointed because I thought the fantasy world was really interesting at the beginning and we kind of lost that and we got into the typical romantasy journey where they are going from one place on a map to another, and that whole, like the whole middle of the book, 150 plus pages, is just traveling through this world and you're not really learning anything about the world as we're going. So the romance, I was enjoying it so much. You know, it's a romantasy, so there's romance and there's fantasy. The fantasy I wasn't loving, but the romance, I was like, I'm invested in this book because I like these two, Jovi and Acre, together. Like, I like them, so I'm going to keep rooting for them. Without giving anything away, okay, the end, the plot twist was unexpected, as a plot twist should be, okay? So like, did it mess me up? Yes, a little bit. It was not foreshadowed at all. And I think that's due to having an unreliable narrator. To me, plot twists should be at least like 1 or 2 little tiny foreshadowing points. I do not remember any foreshadowing about this plot twist. Like, this was not expected at all. I think Rachel Schneider could have hinted at it a little bit because it just seems so out of character for Jovi. Like, it just doesn't match her at all from what we know. And that's why I said maybe Rachel Schneider is going for the whole unreliable narrator aspect and we aren't supposed to trust her. I don't know, but I was caught off guard. I'm giving it 3 stars. The ending was a little disappointing. Even if the twist got me, it's still disappointing when you aren't expecting it the whole time. Like, I like a little bit of foreshadowing laid throughout and there just was 0. Will I be reading the next book? Yes. I think it's called Light Wielder and I don't think there's a release date on it right now, but I hope that it gets better. I hope it's a 3.5 or 4 stars. Like if it gets another 3 or like a 2.5, I'd probably DNF the series because it just doesn't make sense for me to continue if the series is getting worse. Metal Slinger, I finished another Romantasy book and I didn't hate it. I'm just a little confused. The writing was a little sloppy, hence the like no foreshadowing. It just felt clumsy the whole time. So that is it for this book, but I need to pick another Romantasy to read in this video, but I'm running late for a doctor's appointment, so I'm gonna have to pick that later. I will be back, we will pick it. I don't really want to listen to a book in this video, I'd rather read it on my Kindle, and on my Kindle I have Direbound by Sable Sorensen. That has to be a fake name. The Things We Water by Mariana Zapata, which is a Romantasy, which I love Mariana, but I think this is her first Romantasy book. Rise of the Dawnbringer, and that's all that I have saved in my library for Romantasy, but maybe I could ask Instagram to give me some recommendations for Kindle Unlimited Romantasy books, because that's kind of what I've done in this video is Kindle Unlimited, so I'm going to stick with the trend. I feel like I'm always in this corner of the couch, but I'm the most comfortable. Everyone has to have a corner of the couch. After I did my own research, I decided that Direbound is probably going to fit this video a little bit better. The Mariana Zapata one was a little bit more paranormal romance, and so many people that I follow on Goodreads had already DNF'd it. Like, it wasn't looking so hot. And Direbound did just release a few weeks ago. It's already been raved about. I am 1 chapter in. We have a girl who is already a badass. It opened up with her in like a fighting ring, and she was like basically just kicking this guy's ass. And she does have a boyfriend, I think. I don't remember anyone's name, but she does have a boyfriend. And she also takes care of her mother and her younger sister. And in the little pocket of town that she lives in, there have been girls going missing or children going missing, and so she's worried about her younger sister kind of getting kidnapped. And I think they're literally called the Nappers, like Nabbers, which I think is kind of funny. Like, that's what the kidnappers are called. But I've only read 1 chapter, so I'm going to read a little bit more and I will update you guys. I have no idea what this book is about, other than what I've gathered from the first chapter. Quick update on Direbound. I am 15% of the way through on chapter 9, I think like 100 pages or so. It's piqued my interest enough to keep going. Like, I want to know where this war goes and where our main character goes and if she gets bonded or not. Like, I want to know these things, so I'm going to keep going. It is a little boring right now, but I think it's just going to be a slow burn. It's very slow right now. There's not much burning going on. Our main character lives in the slummy part of town, and there are these nabbers, not nappers, not these kidnappers, but the nickname for them is nabbers. These nabbers took her sister, and I saw that coming from a mile away. That's not even a spoiler. Like, it was bound to happen. This main character had to have some sort of conflict. She's an amazing fighter, and she decides to enlist in the military to kind of get a way in to stop the nabbers or to figure out more information about the nabbers. But there is a war going on right now, so she enlisted anyway to kind of help in the war, kind of stop these blood-sucking people. I don't know exactly what they're called, I forget, but they are the opposing team of this war, and her people versus these bloodsuckers. She thinks the nabbers are these bloodsucker people. I obviously think that's probably not what's actually going on, but when she enlists in the military, it happens to be the same time that the bonded are looking for new bondeds, which bonded are people that have a bond with a dire wolf in her community. So dire wolves are these huge horse-sized wolves, and the people who bond with these wolves are called bonded, but they have to go through these trial processes to be bonded to a dire wolf, if that makes sense. It is giving a little bit like Fourth Wing dragon vibes, like, oh, you've got to go through all of these trials before a direwolf deems you worthy kind of thing. That's how it seems, and she is in the middle of scaling a mountain to get to the top of the mountain to kind of prove herself, but she doesn't want to be bonded. Like, she hasn't said in her head or like in her dialogue, it's not like she's wanting to have a dire wolf. She just wants to get to the top so she can like move forward and get on with this and just be in the military and kind of figure out where her sister's at. My Kindle is downstairs, so I don't have anything to hold up, but I'm talking about Direbound, which I am 55% of the way through, I think on page 380. So hear me out, right? I wasn't really clicking with our main character because she is so stubborn, tough to love, in my opinion. But I took a step back and I'm thinking, you know who else is really tough and hard-headed and hard to love? Is Nesta. And I was like, you know, this character is frustrating me so much, just like Nesta did in the ACOTAR series. I think this sets Marin, our main character, up for wonderful character development if it's done correctly. Like, the writing has to be great at the end of this book or book 2, like character development wise. Like, her arc better be phenomenal. And we've already seen a little bit of character development. I mean, 50% of the way through, she's finally accepted this bond that she has, and that was really tough for her to do because she's always viewed the bonded, like she's a commoner, she's always viewed the bonded as very privileged, and they just overlook the commoners. But now that she is a bonded, she's realizing that the bonded are just as discriminated against in a way from the king and from the even higher up than bonded, because it's like commoners, bonded, royals basically is kind of the hierarchy. I'm liking the potential that her character has. Let's end it there. The romance side of this book, we've known she had a boyfriend before she became bonded, and she's still kind of with him now. I won't give any spoilers away, but he's not, and you know that he's not the main love interest because it's a romantasy book and she's gonna want the dark, bad, deep, mysterious, sometimes she's attracted to him, sometimes she hates him kind of vibe. Like, he's the alpha of some pack that she's with, and he's the love interest. But right now it's kind of giving Tamlin. We're kind of liking this other love interest that she has and that she's had, and they've been together a while. We've even got some smutty scenes with them, but I know that it's not long game due to I don't know what. Like, does he end up dying? Does this love interest end up betraying her in some way, which I can't see it the way that's going. Like, I don't think he would betray her, but this other guy is definitely our love interest. I guess that's it. Okay, bye. I have a work meeting very soon, so I'm gonna make this quick. I am 95% of the way through. I'm gonna finish it. After my work meeting, I'm going to binge the heck out of this ending because the twist was very interesting. I was not expecting, like, okay, so there's two elements to this twist, and I won't say anything to spoil it, but the person involved, I knew that was gonna happen. Like, I knew who the twist was gonna be about, but I did not expect what they were gonna do to kind of betray our main character. After reading Metal Slinger with that ending that I kind of hated, the plot twist of that ending, this one's making me feel a lot better. Like, it was kind of foreshadowed a little bit. Elements of the story were brought in to this twist that made the twist realistic. I guess the one thing, because I haven't updated since the 50%, I don't think. I read a lot yesterday because I think I updated you guys yesterday. Her character development is still frustrating. She's still in this, like, she has a bond with her wolf, and she keeps puts her wall down so she can't communicate with her wolf and her wolf can't communicate with her. She keeps doing that and she hasn't learned her lesson yet. But then something bad would happen because she did that, and I was like, girl, this is like the 4th time you've done it, and every time you do it, it never leads to anything good. I'm actually very excited for the next book, or whenever that next book comes out. Like, I will immediately be reading that one. So I was scrolling on Safari trying to find a positive romantasy article, and I found a few, but they're all Substacks and you have to subscribe to the person to actually read it, and I don't use Substack like that. So I'm going to read a few sentences from a few of them, and I'll put them on the screen and link them down below in case anyone does want to fully read in them. But In Defense of Romantasy by Ivy Charlotte Dally. One complaint that I've seen lobbed at Romantasy time and time again is that it's shallow fairy porn lacking any type of literary value. She's quoting this from a different negative article, but it says Sarah J. Maas might be one of Book Talk's favorite writers, but she's doing very little to contribute to the world of literature or the world as a whole. As someone who aspires to go into that field after graduating, it is disheartening to see that trashy books that forsake good writing to instead pander to lonely middle-aged women's secret fantasies are the ones that get the most attention. Our girl Ivy goes in defense of that. Most romantasy books often focus on female pleasure. So is the problem being middle-aged, or is the problem actually the fact I'm reading material that goes against a certain worldview where sex is for procreation only? Honestly, it feels like the critics are slut-shaming me over my reading preferences, pointing out that I'm middle-aged is meant to make me feel even worse in a culture that prizes youth. This tactic is not only ineffective, but shows that the powers behind the curtain are frightened by the rise of stories featuring empowered women. Romantasy is a romance genre. Like, it's not, I mean, it is fantasy, there is fantasy in it, but really you're reading it for the relationship and the love and everything happening between the two main love interests. That's the point, in my opinion, of romantasy. And then they're in a fantasy world, it's mythical, there can be escapism, but also it's for female pleasure. Like, it's nice to have a woman as the main character, being a badass and doing her thing and getting what she wants and fighting for what she thinks is right. I hope that anyone of the legal reading age 18 plus that reads these books feels empowered by reading these books. Do I think that it's fairy porn? No, not really, because there is, and I've just tried to describe this to Brock so many times, there is a buildup of characters and world and personalities that you're getting to know. You're watching this character grow and go through really hard things. It's not just sex. The sex is like the added bonus, but like it's also realistic for adults to have sex. So is it taboo to talk about sex when most adults are doing it? I don't know. Like, that's what I don't really understand. Earlier, I sat down to finish Direbound and work got in the way, so I have not been able to just sit and finish this book today, and it's already 4 p.m. So it is my time. It is my turn. I am ready to read and finish this dang book. I think Kindle says I have like 30 to 40 minutes left on it, so I'm gonna put on some ambiance in the background. A nice fireplace cricket theme going on. I finished. Wow. That ending was not what I expected at all, and I really liked it. I'm debating between, I'm just gonna say the rating right up front and then I'll get into my thoughts. I'm debating between a 3.5 and a 4. I hope that this series just gets better and better and better, because a slow burn, the first 50%, pretty dang boring and annoying and frustrating, because our main character Marin is very stubborn and hard-headed and does not see the point of being bonded. Like, she just doesn't quite get it, and she didn't want to be bonded, but this wolf kind of forced her to bond with her in a way, and you'll obviously find out more information about that. So, to be honest, our main character Marin is not my favorite FMC. She's growing on me, and I think she could become a really great FMC, but I just need her. I need her to keep developing. The world itself just got really interesting. I think the last 20%, 4.5 star. Like, the last 20% of this book was great. I really enjoyed the last bit. It almost felt like the writing was completely different in the last 20%. Like, just, it switched gears a little bit and got a little bit more intense. I liked it better than Metal Slinger. Like I said earlier, the end of Metal Slinger, that kind of took your breath away and you're like, what just happened? That twist was very different from this one. This one still surprised me. Some elements of the twist were predictable, like I did guess, but there were other parts of that same twist that I had no clue were coming. Besides the writing being a little bit slow and not like the most quality writing, my only real complaint is Marin and the acceptance that she had. So she was so against being bonded. She was so against the bonded group themselves because they were so privileged, and she was a commoner, and she was so anti-bonds that when she found out something, she accepted it immediately. And then when she found out something even bigger at the end of the book, she accepted it immediately and like almost fit into that role perfectly. Every time something was revealed to her, she's like, man, I hate these people, but I guess I gotta be their leader. Honestly, this video gave me faith in Romantasy because I enjoyed all three books. The mission of this video was to find a good Romantasy book, to find a book that I enjoyed enough to recommend to you guys in the future for certain tropes, and that's basically why I read. I want to recommend books to you guys. And I think with these three books, I did find good Romantasy books, and I'm very happy with that. All of these books are on Kindle Unlimited, so if you have Kindle Unlimited and you'd want to read them as well, I think like these books aren't books that I would spend money physically on just yet. Like if I love Shield of Sparrows, the second book, or Direbound, the second book, like if I fall so head over heels for them, I'll probably end up buying the physical, but Kindle Unlimited is a good little taste test. Do you want to read this book? Do you want to buy this book? Do you want to own this book? Is that it for this video? That's it. So if you want to support my channel, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.